Well, European champions, Will. It's a good feeling.
European champions, that's us. Kind of. Some of Europe.
Well, all of Europe that qualified for the Six Nations, which is the Six Nations.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like the best. If you just got the best of Europe.
You know what it's like, Will? Super League.
That's what it is, yeah.
This is how interested people will be in the Super League. Is that Six Nations every year? Some will lose every game. Nothing will happen. They'll be back in next year. They'll lose again. You know, and
maybe
then
we'll
the
make
winner of
tournaments
this,
within the tournament.
the winner of the Super League will declare itself champion of all the teams that are in it. You know, and everyone will care so much. I mean, look. To be fair, we watched the game down in Kilkenny.
Yeah.
Not a rugby stronghold.
No.
They much prefer the soccer, and they do like hurling, obviously.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of standing room only, and not at pubs around the country, but in Kilkenny, it was like, it was mad. Because we were saying this in the context of this is the Euros. This is essentially if Ireland were the Euros final. And there was loads of space.
We walked in. Halfway through the second half, strolled in, got seats, got tables.
There's room on the door. We just walked right in there. Loads of tables. There was an empty bar. There was an unused bar. They're like, nah, we won't need to open that side of us. Just leave that one free. You know, let people go in and out of that as they please. That's fine.
I know what you're thinking. Now, maybe it was like a dead rubber Ireland against like a nobodies to do. No, it was to win the everything. And they were playing England a day after Paddy's Day.
Grand Slampions, they call themselves, though. I think that's what they're called now, the Grand Slampions. They've won a Triple Crown, which is another invented trophy. I don't know, man. It was bizarre, but no, fair play to the boys.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of work put into it, I'm sure. But
tell you,
yeah,
if we even qualified for the Euros, the last game of the Euros qualifiers, the place would be upside down.
Well, I'll tell you what, Will, when we inevitably beat France in the next game, Evan Ferguson scores a hat-trick, then you'll see the standing room in the pubs, you know, and that's when you'll see a real celebration. When we win one game against a good team.
Yeah, there'll be pints flying everywhere.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. I'm feeling great, Will. I am back to 100% fit, flying fit. Well, I was kind of injured. I mean, I don't know why you would not feel good.
I also feel good.
I was this about you, Will. I was about this today. You know, sometimes I just do cute things like think about you, you know. But, you know, you've had a little like, you know, bad luck with like, you know, your health and like, you know, your teeth, but you got perfect vision, don't you?
No. It's terrible.
Well, wait, aside from the colorblindness, but the vision, you don't need glasses.
I do, yeah. I need glasses.
You need glasses? I've never seen you wear glasses.
Yeah, I don't like wearing them. I've never worn them. I wore them when I got them, put them on once. It's like, nope. I have lazy eye, sure. I keep a chipper mindset on it of that. I'll just pretend I don't.
It's called lying, and you've lied to me, Will.
Yeah, no,
I was not expecting this to turn like this. Look, man, I've never seen you wear reading glasses or phone glasses. I guess is probably more accurate these days. But
no, I usually squint.
Well, there you go, Will. I guess I and the listeners have learned something new.
Did I derail your bit?
No. I was just thinking. I was like, well, at least Will doesn't have to wear glasses. But I mean, I guess you do, but you don't. I mean, you know, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do you? And you don't.
No.
Well, now we know. Anyhow. Well, look, we tried to do a bit of Champions League during the week. Failed.
Miserably.
We had one window to do it. Missed the window. And that was it then. Paddy's weekend had started. And there was nothing we could do. Nothing. I mean, I had written notes on all the games and everything, man. I was up for it, but you know, we just couldn't get the stars to align for Haaland's record goal scoring game. Thankfully, Will, he was thinking of us, and he did the same thing again against Burnley. I think sort of hat trick only this time, which is a bit lame.
He is a fucking freak. It's getting out of hand.
I mean, 42 goals in 37 games? Yes. I mean, that is... And it's March, so he has 2 months left of probably Champions League final in there and right to the wire Premier League and FA Cup still to come as well. So, I mean, we're looking at 50 goals here, people. 50 goals in his first season in the toughest league in the world. I don't say that as kind of like, oh yeah, that's bollocks. It is. It definitely is one of the toughest league in the world. All the way down, the competitiveness is there. Yeah. But it doesn't matter to him.
And I know what you're thinking, that there's a man at his peak of his powers. No, he's about 7 years away from that.
Yeah, well, I've said this many times that like you never know what the peak is. You know, you never might know. You might get struck down from behind from Fabinho, for example. You know, it can happen to anybody. Now, thankfully, Evan Ferguson also recovered. He scored another 2 really good goals.
2 unbelievable goals
to set up the matchup with Haaland. No, am I right in saying that?
No, United are playing against Brighton.
They're on the other side of the draw. But you never know. It feels like the time when Haaland played Lewandowski during the last year.
Yeah.
it's the exact same thing.
Very same level, both players.
One, who's like slightly above. Haaland's like me slightly above Ferguson, I would say. Like it's like you take either one, I would say.
Do you want to know the level Evan Ferguson is playing at right now?
Go on.
I've seen the newspapers and the tabloids. He's the new United linked with Brighton starlet.
Oh yeah. Oh
that'd be amazing.
He would be linked with Arsenal would need him. Chelsea would need him. United, Liverpool, Newcastle will probably be linked with him, even though they may not necessarily need him. But he's that good that you could see him. He would fit in perfectly with all those teams.
Because it's rare. It's the number 9, the golden goose everyone's looking for. A big number 9 who could score goals.
He's like a combination of Firmino and Patrick Bamford. That's what. And that like at that they were like 26. I'm talking about them at their like age peak. At 18, he's like a combination of them. Like, okay, maybe not the Firmino comparison. Yes, so settle down, Carl. Settle down. But he's very like I don't know, economical with his touches. He's never like doing too much of the ball. Like for someone so young, you'd think, oh well, he's going to try and it's going to go to his head. He's going to try and do it all. But like it's just his passing and moving is like one of his most impressive things.
Yeah. And he's fucking so large as well and strong. He's
big, he's strong, he's fast, he has great touch, he moves well, like he doesn't try and I'm smitten, Will.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm smitten.
Do you know who he would actually be perfect for? The Kane replacement for Spurs. Because I mean his contract's up next year. He's like reminiscent of him, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, do you think he'd do well under Conte?
I don't think you need to worry.
Technically, Will, still the manager somehow.
Barely. There's been more stuff today.
What does it take? What does it take to be just like dishonorably discharged from this club?
Well, this is the thing. So, for those who didn't see it, Conte had an all-time press conference where he threw every single player under the bus, threw the club of Tottenham under the bus, and threw Daniel Levy on the bus. We'll play some clips from here.
You are finding an alibi, another alibi. You try to find alibi, an excuse for the players. Okay, continue to do this. To find excuse for the players. You do only this. Excuse for the players. Yeah, but the players maybe my future, and then okay, they lost confidence, they lost spirit, they lost to be a team. Excuse. Try to protect every time, and this situation. Come on. We are professional. We paid. The club paid us a lot of money. The players receive money. Me receive money. You understand? Not to find excuse and don't have spirit or don't show the sense of belongings or don't show sense of responsibility, because we are showing this, and for me this is unacceptable for me, because this is the first time in my career to see a situation like this. And until now, I wasn't able to change. Not to change, but compare last season, the situation went to become worst. Why? Bah, I don't know, because they are used here. They're used here. Don't play for something important. Yeah. And they don't play, they don't want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. Yeah, it's easy in this way. And Tottenham's story is this. 20 years that there is the owner and never won something.
Unbelievable stuff. I've never seen as explosive a press conference.
I mean, what are the two most viral, I mean, not even viral, but it's like just well-known, like, Tottenham slurs that you would say? Maybe not slurs, but like sticks you would beat Tottenham with. What are the two, like, the quotes?
Lads, this is Tottenham. Or is Tottenham.
That's one, yeah.
He said that. And the history of the Tottenham.
This is the Chiellini. You get, when you're preparing them, like, this is the history of Tottenham. It's like, okay, well, I don't know how he knows the history of the Tottenham. I think he's just using that to be mean. Like, these are things that people will say to just like, lads, you know, this is a club that is never going to win anything, a bunch of bottlers. And like, you know, I just, for all those players, I don't care, like, from Kane, obviously, he's been there so long, but any player that comes there, they've been made aware, or they're aware of the history of a club, or like the reputation the club has. Like, you know, a club like Stoke, wherever it's like, you know, we're tough teams or whatever, they would come in and they would instantly be a tough player. You know, they would know what to do.
Yeah.
You're made aware of like what the club means and what it's all about. And like Tottenham, maybe you get, you know, taken away to a hallway and go, listen, this is the kind of thing that we're trying to like get rid of here. We're kind of known as like a soft team that like bottles it, that, you know. So just keep that in your head. Like, that's what we're trying to get rid of. You know?
Keep that in your mind.
I mean, and like I say, he's not gone yet somehow, after saying all these things that all the players, everyone in the club is aware of. Like, I mean, was it the case where, like, you know, he was being sacked and they were standing up for Conte? No, don't sack him. We still believe in him. Like,
no, there's no chance.
Like in that scene in Dead Poets Society, you know, like, oh, Conte, my Conte. Like, who was at his corner? How is he still the club? Why is it not the easiest thing? Just like get rid of him at this point.
Well, here's my theory on it, because obviously he gets some kind of big, insane, stupid severance clause for getting sacked, as they all do.
Yeah,
multi-millions. But now you have to think, it's so obvious that's what he's doing, that if I was Daniel Levy, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm not giving it to him. I'm not giving into this shite. We'll leave you till the end of the season and then you can fuck off for free. Imagine paying a man millions of pounds for calling you and your team losers, and that, like, 20 years with this owner and they've never won anything, the big bald gobshite. And then you have to like pay him. No way. You just say, all right, fuck you then. I'll just not watch for the rest of the season.
That is true. I think he did realize that after he had because it was a bit of a meltdown. Like, it wasn't kind of like, like Mourinho used to do this, and you knew that he had thought about this 2 days before the match. And like, when we lose this game, and if I went through this, I will say this. This was much more kind of like almost screechy and like responding to questions. And he was like, I'll tell you what. But I think when he said the owner thing, he tried to backtrack and go, no, what I meant was that the players and managers have let the owner down. He's owned for 20 years and they haven't won anything. And those sorry bunch of players let him down. That's what I meant. So just give me the money now and I'll be on my way. You know, I was like,
look, let's put this all behind us. Just give me the money.
Let's agree to disagree on what I exactly said and just give me the X amount of millions and I will leave your club.
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, it was a meltdown because there was no, like the Jose one, the football heritage, or like any of the famous ones.
That was what I'm thinking of. He had written that down like several drafts before he said that. He was like, football something. Football, what's a good, like, impactful word here to really stick it to these fuckers.
Yeah, or the when he stormed off and did the like them 0 European Cups, me 3, all that. But like, there's no quotes like that from the Conte one where you're like, oh, that was very biting. Again, it's all like, and then And then this happens, and then this happens, and then you all say this, and like it was so clearly a man who was gotten to.
The alibi one. The alibi. You give another reason. Give another.
Another alibi.
It was. I don't know. The other theory out there at the moment is that like he thought, well, we've drawn with Southampton, a team who've lost by a lot of goals at different times. This is it for Conte. I'm getting sacked now. I better leave what I feel out here. Like, just so you know, this is not my fault.
But this is the thing as well. I think he was given more money or more signings than any other Spurs manager in history. Like more money spent in one window. It's his team. It's 6 of the players are his, and 6 of the old players are gone. That's half the fucking first start 11.
If these cowardly, gutless players are the ones to blame, then why did you sign them? Why did you give them a list?
You knew Perisic very well.
Yeah, like, you're the one who signed the Kulusevski and Romero. Like, I mean, who is it? Is it Harry Kane, the guy who won't stop scoring? Who are these gutless players?
Is it Ndombele, who's currently winning the league at Napoli?
Is it Brian Gill fault again? You can't pin all on old Brian Gill.
I don't know if you saw Jed Spence won
That's
the league.
Sorry. I forgive him.
He won the Player of the Month, I think, in League On, or Player of the Week. Some kind of accolade, anyway.
He won something. He won the I just got a t-shirt that says I played for Antonio Conte and I'm still playing football.
I mean, what is Conte's end game here? Like, I get the money thing, but then where are you going to go? Even the most destructive clubs are going to go, whoa, I'm not getting involved in that. Which we even saw when he was trying to go to United and they turned him down because they're like, we know how this ends, mate, and we never make a right decision.
Yeah, I mean, what is the scenario now if, Arsenal don't win the league and City do win by 15 points, and then Conte is obviously already, that permission has already come through. It was like, well, do we all just forgive Gary Neville? Do we all just say he was right about it all? What next? Like the whole guitar thing was a fraud.
They're lovely. They're
but
really
the US,
nice.
all that stuff was lies. It all came out to be untrue. That we've been their information has been suppressed. I mean, what next for Gary Neville? That's what I want to know. Honest to God, I've never been so wrong about something in my life when it comes to football. This Conte appointment.
It's looking like, as much as we were saying, like, why have they not sacked him yet? It is looking like it's going to be any day now. There's a good few Tottenham journalists now all reporting they expect Conte to be sacked within the week. And most interestingly was this one from Sky Sports News, who said, members of the Tottenham squad have been in contact with former manager Mauricio Pochettino about a potential return to the club. Why are the players picking?
Because I guess who would want to go in there now, at this point of the season?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't talked Harry Kane leaving all season, it feels like, well, at least since after the World Cup. Anyway, I think we talked about it a lot, but like, that is also in the background. That's living. And I think even the truest Tottenham fan now would say, listen, why would you stick around? Like, I don't want him to leave, but like at the same stage, I understand more now than I did 2 years ago. And like, it's not like he's been shit. He's still been doing exactly what he was doing before. Like, the whole Gary Neville interview and wanted to leave, and it was very obvious he was just like, come and get me. But he went back, he scored goals, he got assists. He missed penalties regularly, I guess. Didn't miss any for Tottenham. So, like, what do you do? Like, you're coming into a club that will more than likely lose Harry Kane.
Yeah.
The rest of the players there, like Son also. I mean, if I was Son, I'd be getting out too. It's just the whole thing. Because of their age profile, like, it's hard to know how long it'll take them to turn this around because it's just been such a damaging appointment, I think. That, like, if you're 29, agent to 30 as a player, it's like, okay, how many years do I have left? Am I going to spend them here on the Tottenham rebuild, or what am I going to do? So who's going to go in? Poch to go back and maybe try again with Tottenham? I don't know. I don't see it either.
Just so, I think Poch is just such a lazy appointment. Like, just like, well, that almost worked a few years ago. It didn't fully work. He still sacked him as well. Like, he got sacked when they stopped playing for him for like a full year, it felt like. Yeah,
I don't know. The Poch thing, it makes sense, I suppose, because, I mean, he isn't exactly sought after now. After Tottenham, it was like, wow, what a mistake they made. They went to PSG. That didn't work out. Hasn't worked out for a lot of managers. So it's kind of like when a manager got sacked from Chelsea, he was like, yeah, that's not real management sacking. That's a different thing. But he hasn't been like, there's been a few jobs that come up in the meantime. He hasn't been asked for any of them. Yeah. So maybe he's thinking, well, I need to get back in somehow. And this is a team that if I come back in, they definitely get some kind of bounce. I get Champions League, fuck it, go from there. So that would be the only reason.
You have to think as well that like he'll get a long leash if he comes back. Do you know what I mean? Because it feels like after a really damaging appointment, they kind of let the next manager like, all right, up to you. You've as long as you need. Sell who you like. It always happens at United. It happens at Chelsea a few times.
Usually, yes, but this time they did that with Conte and said, spend all the money you want. You're in control. We don't want you coming back and dogging the club or ruining everything. Yeah. And then he did that.
Not letting you do that thing again.
Yeah, well, I'd say that's what Levy's head was like. Okay, right. If I don't give the money, he'll complain. So I'll give him all the money, and he can't complain. And like it just, that didn't work at all. I just imagine leaving his office like I did everything that I never do. This is why I'm always right. This is why I never listen to anybody but yourself, Daniel.
Never spend money. I should have known.
I never should doubt myself. Damn it, So if Poch comes back in, and if it is the case that, hey, I could take the job. It's like, yeah, this guy's desperate to come back to somewhere. Then Big Dan's back in charge. He goes, this is your budget. Yeah. Work with that.
Make the most of Richarlison. Maybe we'll see World Cup Richarlison for once.
Well, that's that. Richarlison's still there.
Yeah.
If they were to lose Kane, maybe honestly, for Spurs, they've got as much out of Kane as you could possibly get.
Yeah, I think so.
So if they were to move on from Kane, and look, they bring in someone like Richarlison. They had Dele Alli, who, obviously it didn't work out for him. Would he have been better as a Firmino type? We'll never know because Harry Kane was just there. You couldn't, it was all around him. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not saying it's Harry Kane's fault, but it didn't work out. Maybe it is time for Spurs, as much as Harry Kane, to kind of move on from that and say, listen, Richarlison is 25, 26.
Around that, yeah.
Maybe he's the main man. And you have Kulusevski, and maybe you hold on to Son, and you go, right, we'll try something different here. And maybe that's the way to go. If you're Poch coming in, they're not a terrible team. They're obviously still fourth, so like there is potential there. But it's just this Conte has just been the worst way of this, team to end. Yeah. Like, just like, by the way, it's their fault that they didn't win anything. All those finals and stuff they're in, that was their fault. They lost that
as well. Like a team who is known for being like fragile mentally. This is really the last thing they need.
Well, if they are fragile mentally, I think a lot of it is just it's a skill issue.
Yeah,
Will.
Exactly.
That's the meme of the week I'm using this week. A skill issue.
Well, this is like they're really only like 3 players away from fixing all these problems. In the same way, Liverpool, like as soon as they fixed the keeper, they were it's like they're
aren't we all? Isn't everyone's club? We just need 4 solid signings. And we're there, man. We are fucking in the mix. Everyone says that, and then someone gets injured, and you bring someone in and he's shy, and it's just you're either there or you're not, and it's just you can't just imagine these signings coming from Porto and go, just get someone good in, because it never happens. You either get there or you don't. And like, yeah, look, I feel for Spurs because this is just, if this was your own club and you had your own manager saying all the things that people level at you, it's like if Pep was like, look, this club is actually a joke. It's the money. That is it. Yeah. That is it. Nothing else. You might say, oh, they've done it well. They haven't. It's the money. They're paying the refs. That's right. I'm coming clean. Yeah.
Cheers.
Every trope about your club was just like in a press conference by your manager. Like, this is what you watch to escape reality. This is so unfair for those Tottenham fans. Honestly.
I mean, imagine you're looking in your football group chat, all your friends are laughing at the result, and you turn it off, you go, fuck hell, I'll stick off the press conference.
See what to say about himself, I was like, oh God.
Your friends are all right.
Yeah. The right to laugh at you. Why are you supporting this club, you idiot?
I did see when I was like looking up what the fucking story was. Why is this all going on? Did my usual. I went straight to the source. I went to the Spurs Reddit and some of the comments. The one that sticks in my head is one guy who just said, picking this team to support when I was young is the worst decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah, that's what you gotta pick them in your later years, like I did.
Yeah.
Buy in the dip, Will. You gotta buy the dip,
Yeah.
ride the wave to the top, and then when they start to become bad in your 30s, you go, I don't watch football anymore. I don't time, don't have time.
Game's
You
gone.
get out. Cash in your chips. You go, listen, I used to watch it when they won the leagues and stuff, but I don't watch it anymore. No. Not me. No. Too busy. Too much going on. Three fingers, 3 pies. But it's cool that you still watch. Who's it? The Premier Division, is it now? I don't remember. Don't remember. Yeah.
Back when I watched it, Newcastle were okay.
Yeah. Well, listen, lads, you don't know the Southampton team of the 2013. The streets, they remember. You maybe don't, but the streets do. Anyways, what else we have, Will? We had a mix of FA Cup, and we had Premier League. We also had, Will, a big fixture. Maybe not as good in recent years. El Clasico.
Yes.
Now, we said they wouldn't get punished this year, but, Will, they weren't treated with an appearance from Florentino Perez.
Yes.
When he's like, protesting over corruption and like, dodgy dealings, you've really upset
when resident lunatic.
This is not right. The guy behind the Super League's like, this is bullshit, lads. This is, I mean, we don't have any further insight other than it's fucking mad that they did that for 17 years.
Yeah, and it seems like what we like kind of thought it is what it was, where they were like allegedly paying for like referees' stats, but then did you see some of the players come out and said, I never saw them.
We paid $7 million a year for these reports that none of the players and the managers ever saw. I was like, well, who were they for then? What benefit was these reports?
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that not Laporte, but the previous president, the police busted into his office for embezzlement because he had paid some ridiculous fee for social media that he put down social media. It's like, there's no way it costs this much. You're clearly embezzling funds here. So like, I'm just saying, it was at the top level of the club. It was common practice. So like, there's no way it was for the stats that you could just get on Wikipedia. So look, they are being accused, but are they in hot water? We don't know. I mean, probably not.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they'll get a slap on the wrist of some kind.
Also, they won the Clasico, so they're now like 12 points clear at the top of the league. Yeah. So
I think they'll take their punishment happily.
Yeah, mad. I mean, they'll probably win the league, and Real Madrid will probably win the Champions League, I guess. That's probably how it's going to go. And yeah,
it's mad that no matter what happens, it's always just the same, isn't it?
It's mad that Real Madrid, after all their success, like they just don't feel like the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like if when City were winning all those leagues in the Premier League, that Liverpool just won Champions League after Champions League.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just not arsed the league. I mean, it's just such a slog. I cannot be arsed heading down there to Sporting Heon. I mean, again, we've already played them once this year.
Now Bayern, that I can get behind.
That's a game, that gets my dick hard for sure. But yeah, I think they're 12 points clear with 12 games to go. So they have a 4-game cushion that they can lose. Which they probably won't lose any of those games. But it seems they just beat Real Madrid for the second time. So, well, they played them for a second time. I think they drew the last game or they drew the first one. But yeah, it's all wrapped up there.
Yep.
Just like in the Premier League, Will.
Yep, done. Game over.
It's all over. Arsenal win again. Played Crystal Palace, newly managerless Crystal Palace.
Your prediction of most manager changes in a season is looking pretty good, I would say.
I forgot about that.
There's a new one every week. We're talking about Conte probably gone this week. Vieira was gone a few days ago.
That feels so long ago. That was obviously before the World Cup. But like, wow, I did say that.
That's probably going to come true.
Good memory.
I think it was like 8 or 9 was the number. Feels like we're way beyond that.
We didn't get the bottom of it. I don't know why I said that at the start. I guess because a lot of teams who were looking a bit shaky. I thought the World Cup will shake it right up. But well, this is where it's going to happen. This is where people start to panic. You know,
Yeah.
like Crystal Palace hadn't won in 2023 apparently.
Yeah.
Hadn't had a shot on target in 4 games. You know, I mean, they're still like in and around, and they have good players, but it's just like, okay, has he lost dressing room? You know, should we get in Roy?
I can't believe they got him Roy. He's 74 years of age.
Give it to Roy at the end of the season. You know,
I mean, surely the game, like people say, the game changes and the game leaves people behind. There's no way a 74-year-old man is able to keep up with the tactics.
No, I mean, I'm very sure he retired from Crystal Palace.
I think he's done that twice.
He retired from Crystal Palace, and then Watford said, Roy, look, we need you, buddy. You know? And I don't know, I think they got relegated, or I don't know what it was, but they didn't say it, obviously. But they said, okay, look, that's really it now. I mean, look, I don't have it in me anymore. But I think he really likes Crystal Palace.
He must, yeah.
I'd say he must be in London still. He's like, yeah, it's not too far away. I can probably swing that.
And like, if they get relegated, he's not going to stick around.
Like, he'd probably not drive up to Leicester, you know, if say Leicester to come in. But he'd do if he's local. Now, maybe he's not, but I mean, it just feels like a weird choice, you know, to
it's
like,
very weird, yeah.
Because at this point, I say he's 74, millionaire, multimillionaire. It's not about the money. It's like, I'd love to manage a team again, just one more time. Have you seen his Wikipedia, the list of teams he's managed?
No, I would say it's quite long, extensive.
Extensive list, a lot of Scandinavian teams.
Really?
Now, I remember hearing that first when he joined Liverpool. Everyone obviously does the deep dive and go, oh, he's learned in the football in Sweden and all that stuff. I also remember that he was pronouncing Pirlo wrong when he was managing Inter Milan. And Pirlo didn't like that because Pirla instead of Pirlo means dickhead. So, you know, I guess it's like calling me cock. Hey, cock. It's Cahill. It's not cock. Stop calling me a cock in front of everybody.
You're embarrassing me.
You're embarrassing me in front of the boys, right? His first managerial appointment was in 1976, Will.
That is crazy.
He's seen a lot of changes in the game. Did you know, Will, that substitutes were only introduced in 1970?
Gavi has been born like 4 times in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, landmark things that's happened in his lifetime. He either has a vivid memory of 9/11 or doesn't quite remember it. You know, one of the two. Yeah, first started in Halmstad, which is a Swedish team. So he started in Sweden, then big move to Bristol, then back to the Scandinavian with various teams I'm not going to try and pronounce. But maybe I will. Odevold, Orebo SK, Malmo, we know them. Neuchâtel Axmax, Switzerland. He went straight from them to Switzerland. Then Inter Milan. This is a big run for him. Blackburn Rovers. Then back Inter Milan caretaker. Then Grasshoppers, Copenhagen, Udinese, United Arab Emirates, before it was cool. Viking, Finland, Fulham, Liverpool, West Brom, England 21 caretaker, Crystal Palace, Watford, and Crystal Palace again.
That's
so yeah,
mad.
What a resume. Not many gaps either, I have to say. Not many years off there from that entire time. He loves to work. He loves what he does.
Yeah, man needs a break.
It's like 1 or 2 years off in total, but man, he loves it. More towards the end, obviously, but yeah, I mean, look, I don't think they're in that much danger because, you know, there's a few bad teams at the bottom, but Bournemouth are looking better. Southampton are just somehow scraping these wins, scraping these draws. You know, they're getting points when you need them. So I guess I can see why Crystal Palace sacked Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
Maybe getting a bit nervy, but what else then, Will?
We had one of the all-time meltdowns I've ever seen on a football pitch.
Yes, sorry.
The FA Cup. Fulham, I would say, cruising to victory for about 70 minutes against Man United in Old Trafford. Man United looked leggy, wrecked. A game too many for them, probably. But it all changed in one foul swoop where Sancho went through on goal, took a shot. Willian blocked it off the line with his hand. A stonewall, obvious red card. Everyone, that's as clear as day. That's how it happens.
Any day of the week. Any day of the week. Yeah.
It's the number one rule you know as a child. Do not touch the ball with your hand, especially if it's going into the goal.
A lot of rules have changed. But that one has stayed fairly steadfast throughout the whole history of the game, I think.
Even handball has changed, but that one, you can't do that. Not allowed.
Stop the goal. That's red card. End story.
Willian did it. Willian, he did it so much that he was shaking his hand because it hurt him so much, the sting, while also shaking his head that it wasn't a red card.
Hold your face, man. Everyone knows hold your face or something.
The ref goes to the monitor. He's told, that's a definite red card. You should go look at that. On his way to the monitor, Marco Silva, it seems, tries to stop him and talk to him, which is a big no-no. You can't get in the way of the monitor.
Apparently, it's a sacred space, the monitor.
Yeah. That's an immediate red card for Marco Silva, who storms off down the pitch. The Fulham fans, you can hear the like, oh, this is getting a bit blurry. Like, why do you do that? It's a red card for Marco Silva. The ref starts storming over to Willian to give him the red card and the penalty. On his way, Mitrovic stops him, gets right in his face, starts roaring at him, finger in the face. The ref very calmly ignores him.
Yeah.
He steps by him, and then Mitrovic grabs him by the shoulder and pulls him back so that he can square up to him.
You kind of pushed his shoulder back to him. Where you going, pal? You kind of pushed him back and then kind of got in his face. It's like, oh, I don't know about this now. This is, I just don't understand why it all went like that,
So it was just, the commentator I was watching on the stream described it as Mitrovic has seen the red mist.
The red mist really did descend for some reason.
Yeah. And it was just chaos then. Mitrovic got the red card, Willian's got a red card, Marco Silva's got a red card. United scored the penalty and then immediately score again because Fulham have totally and utterly freaked out. Fulham then made 4 substitutions at once in a clear sign of, I have no idea what's going on the pitch anymore.
Yeah, the assistant manager said, this is my time to shine. Finally, I can make the team in my vision. He would have had more, I'd say.
Do you know who brought on to a 9-man Fulham who were up against it? Former United player Dan James, who I forgot about.
He's on loan at Fulham from Leeds.
I think so, yeah. Either that or they're permanent.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I totally had forgotten about him. But yeah, one of the maddest meltdowns I've ever seen on the pitch. Again, because they were cruising. And even one red card to Willian. Willian's not going to track back that much. Look, you mightn't get the second goal, but you could keep it 1-1, get to extra time. You could give it a good go. They just totally... It was like a red card and they're like, right, that's it. Game's over. We fucked it. There's still 20 minutes to go.
It's like, all season, everyone expecting like bad decisions from them, meltdowns, red cards, and they get relegated. And they contained it all season. They were doing really well. They were like pushing for Europe perhaps. And then just this one game to let it all out. It's like, okay, now let's just fucking forget all that professionalism shite and let's just go crazy here. I mean, what was Mitrovic doing there? I mean, what did the ref say to him when he's going, wait, fucking do one, will you?
By the looks of everything I saw, the ref was literally saying nothing. And Mitrovic, I think maybe that's what was annoying. I was like, hey, talk to me. Why are you ignoring me?
Look me in the eyes, I'm talking to you, son.
I've never seen well, not in a long, long time. In the modern game, you never see a ref getting like squared up to as like, it's bad when you feel bad for the ref. You're like, oh, he's getting bullied a bit by the big man.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of the more like, because a lot of times they say that about teams like, oh, they had a complete meltdown. They balled. It's like,
no,
they got cut apart by it. Like, an unbelievable Barcelona team, or whatever, when they were winning, but. They were stopping that pass all game. They just didn't get there this time. They didn't melt down or collapse. This was like a collapse. From like what your senior players in Willian and Mitrovic, definitely the most experienced in Willian's case. Mitrovic, like, he's your talismanic, after your manager and your most experienced player been sent off, you go, I got this, boys. And then you go, I got here. Ref, look, we were talking to you. Hey.
A red card for who?
Why? Like,
it was amazing. There's a lot of talk about like, Bruno can touch refs all he likes with Mitch. It was totally different. Bruno was like a little petulant child being like, oh, get off me. I'm having a terrible day. Or again, Mitrovic was like a grown man stepping up to a child going, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, the Bruno one, like, it was because the whole game he was at it kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so people were waiting for it to boil over till he does something too far. And that was as close as he came.
Yeah.
So people were like, I thought he was going to fucking do more there.
Yeah.
And he had a kick at Alexander Arnold just before that because he was like trying to time waste at 7-0. I think it was pretty safe, even for you, Alexander Arnold. I think you probably had that one covered. And then he got the paw back at him, and then the ref was like, all right, play on. And he's just like, get out of my way, will you?
Yeah.
But like this one was like, the ref was ignoring him, and he kind of pushed his shoulder back to get in front of him so he could stand. Like, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
intimidating. Wants to be a very intimidating man to be doing that kind of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, look, this is just, if it was the opposite, you know, no one would have even seen the Fulham one because we were all turned off after 5-0 in the Fulham game. You know, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have seen that. It's just when you're Hernandez and United, you see every little touch like that. So, I mean, it's it's in my opinion, anyways, it's not the same thing at all.
No, and I think he's him and Marco Silva have lengthy bans on the way. There was also an amazing clip of Marco Silva. So when you get the red card, you have to go down the tunnel into the dressing room. That is like the rule. There was an amazing, you know, the camera they have for when the teams are coming out, where you see them in the tunnel. They switched to that camera, and you could see Marco Silva sticking his head out of the dressing room and then walking out and then looking up at the camera and then going back into the dressing room.
No. Caught on CCTV. Yeah. We've all been there, folks.
Maybe I could just manage them from here.
Yeah. Look, it's sad because it was such a good season for Fulham.
Yeah.
And everyone said, they'll be relegated. Always there. They kind of tapered off a little bit recently. But like, I didn't even realize they're in the semi-final, FA Cup semi-final, because I don't really follow the FA Cup until, you know, now.
Yeah.
Or something like mad happens, you know. But this is going to really, no matter what happens down the season, it's going to feel like such a shit season. Even though,
I mean, you've no Mitrovic for the rest of the season. Like they're obviously safe, but I mean, I don't think they're challenging for Europe anymore. And then it's like, if you plummet down to like 14th, 13th, all you're going to see when you look back is that position. You're not going to think like, yeah, but we were in 5th and 6th all season. You're just going to think, yeah, that's about what I expected, really, as a Fulham fan.
I remember when I lost my mind.
Universally agreed here, especially by the officials. That looks like handball. Having a look at the monitor, and if it's handball, it's a red card, it's a penalty. Marco Silva has had his say. He's off. William will have to go off. It's a heroic effort to get back on the line. They are into the semi-final. Controversially, from Fulham's point of view, they were authors of their own downfall.
Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Well, look, Will, like we say, failed attempt this week. Well, not really failed. You got After Nonsense up there on Patreon. $5 a month. We'd really support the show, support us if you did it. This week, you know what? We get After Nonsense for sure. There's been an Ireland kit announcement that I think we might discuss on the paid episode there on the Patreon.
I'd like your keen graphic design eye.
Yeah, a few different things that we're gonna talk about this week as well. That was a great advertisement. The kit, something else, $5 a month. Who says no?
Money.
Fuck's sake. I will say Will though. I will say Will. Another segment that hasn't taken legs yet, but someday. I will say Will is me struggling to say something. So I say nonsense words. Anyways, Chelsea, who I said they're back, immediately drew again. But guess what, Will?
What?
Sure, Havertz. Yeah, I feel to get the headlines. Guess who got the assist?
Pen.
No, the other one. The right back, the wing back, James. I was right about that. If nothing else, I was right about that. Called the season, I think.
And 10 million managers in this season. You've nailed all the predictions.
Next week, folks, I'll be back with the with exactly what I said in clip form, and then a little scoreboard, because that's one that might actually come true. So look forward to that next week. That's really going to be good stuff.
Yeah. Don't leave your phones.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Melodrama upon melodrama. This is a total, shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the
Plenty of
time.
time, no problem.